me just get myself organised. I might have to say all of that all over again because I don't think it came out. Check. That all over again. I don't think it came out. Check. Okay, I can't go back and watch that while I'm recording. So in case it didn't come out, Stampin' Up has launched a hot foil system, and it will be available from midnight on Friday the 10th of July. And it's a system where you use heat from the system and your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to attach foil in different patterns to your paper. And it looks incredible. Mine's on its way. So I'll be doing a demonstration of that shortly. And I'll be putting some more information in the email that comes out with this video. Then I showed you my sketch. So I've just quickly done a sketch before I came on of this card design. So I've got it saved for later. And I pointed out the beautiful paper and how it's got the gold. I don't know if you can see that, the gold shimmer. So hopefully, if you didn't hear that the first time round, I've now done a recap. Okay, so this is the paper we're using to create our card, and the card design came from Jackie Williams. And what I'm going to do, and I'm also using the All of Flutter butterflies. This is a set of stamps with a matching coordinating punch. So we'll be using that. But actually, I might just show you a glimpse of the card. So this is what I mean by a sunburst background. So we're going to use the DSP to create these this pattern with the paper. I'll just set that aside. And I've gone and cut most of my shapes, but I wanted to just show you how it's done. So I started with a piece that is about 10 centimeters by 3 centimeters, or 4 inches by 1 1/4 would work. And then, sorry, I'll just move that slightly. I want to make sure I'm on camera here. So to cut, I did mine all the same way. Now, I don't know if this matters or not because I didn't test it, but I did them all with the bottom left corner and the top right corner in the track. So your cutting point is in the middle of this track here. So I've just lined each point up in the center of that track. And then I found if I actually hold on to it, make sure that doesn't move. If I actually hold on to it on this side here, I can let the ruler come down and it won't move. It shouldn't move. Actually, if you did a slightly wider width of paper, you'd probably have more to hold on to here. So that one did actually move slightly, so I'm just going to give it a little nudge there. And I always start, when I'm doing corner to corner, I start with the blade in the center of the paper. If you come at it from the corner, it will tear the paper in a funny way, and it will just sort of dent the corner. So I always start in the middle and go out and then down the other way. So that's how I created my triangles of paper. Right, so now that we've got those, we just need to find our focal point of where we want these points all coming into. And you don't need to be exact. I'm just going to put a dot sort of about there. So I guess it's sort of 2/3 or 1/3 of the way down and in the center. But I didn't measure it. It doesn't need to be exact. And then you just start putting these pieces on. Now, I did mine with a gap in between, and I'm going to do that look again simply because I actually may have cut these slightly wider last time. So your first one has to be is where you sort of work out where if it's going to reach the edge. So see how I've got a little bit of white showing there, so I'm going to have to twist it or bring my dot down. I could bring the dot down. I probably haven't gone quite long enough. If I did it there, it will reach the edge. So I'm just moving my dot down. So I could, if I could find my rubber, I could rub out that dot and put a new one in. But I'm just going to aim in that general direction for this video. Okay, so then I just get my next one, and you want to have it, you'll have bits that are overhanging the edge, and the idea is that we've put all these on, and then we're going to trim the edge. Okay, so I'm leaving, oh goodness, what is happening here? This one, I'm just going to bring it down. All the bad things, all the things that you have to adjust are happening to me. So I think this piece isn't quite the same length, but I need it to meet the edge. So I've just brought it down a wee bit. That will be covered because I'm going to put my focal point over that. So not to worry, it will still work out. Okay, our next one. And I'm using the liquid glue. You can use tape. So this one I'm aiming for the same sort of spot as that first one. And I've got a gap in between. Yeah, you can use tape if you prefer that as your glue. Whoops. It's quite a cool way to just sort of play with your colours when you get a new pack of paper. Okay, now I've got one of these that I just cut with you. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this one here, I used two-tone cardstock for that one. And I embossed it with I think it's Daisy. I don't know if I've put the name on that one actually. Excuse me. It's this folder here with all the daisies on it. I'll have to find out the name. But a really pretty folder. Okay, and we just keep going around. So as you can see, I'm getting more overhanging the edge now that I'm getting into this side part. So I'm not putting my glue as far down. And it does seem like a little bit of a waste of the paper, but you could use that for another one later on. Okay. Oh, now I've got one of those to go over here. Just catch up. So when I designed this, I started with, I got all my strips and then I worked out where I wanted to put them so that I didn't end up with two the same, too close together, or, you know, too many sort of the hydrangea hue in a row, because that is one of the predominant patterns in the paper, colours in the paper. So here I'm just putting glue on that tip part, and my focal point is a little bit out, but you won't actually notice once you've got the circle on top. It will look fine. Okay, so this one I want glue to about there. See what I mean about I've sort of lost my point, but just overlap it. And unfortunately there's not that much pattern on that one. That's all right, we get the general idea. And this one here is like I said, I've lost the point because I did that on my trimmer and I wasn't paying attention. But again, I can just angle that in. What I might do is actually start on this side and come up that way. It's just a matter of working around and filling in all the gaps. Now I've come out of sync. That's the one I want. Oh, I'm getting stuck to here. So it's a good idea to have a glass mat or a silicone mat, because you'll see I've gone a bit generous with the glue, and I've got glue here which is now sticking to my surface. So I'll just attach this one quickly. And I might just wipe down. Actually, I'll spray it onto here. So I'm getting stuck. And wipe. Okay, and I do have, I think I've got a silicone mat. Let me find one. There we go. I always have one in my bag that I take to classes, because if you glue something and you suddenly think, oh no, that's the wrong place, so I'm not ready for that yet, you can pop it onto the silicone mat, and then it won't stick to anything else around it until you're ready for that piece again. Okay, so I want this one next. I think this pattern's one of my favourites. All lots of little flowers with all that gold in there. So pretty. Now I want this one. I had no internet this morning. That was a bit of a catastrophe. And then I used all my data doing my yoga class. So I had to, Brendan's at the office today, so I had to call and get some IT assistance. Now, have I got enough to finish it? Maybe. It's always a concern. So what I can do is, oh no, I'll keep going. I might just need to cut one more piece. I had a funny feeling that I'd done this one slightly skinnier than my previous, than my sample one. So it looks like I have. I just need one more, but I do have one, I think, left over. Where did I put that? Perhaps it's in the paper. So I had a triangle, but no, I'm going to do another one. I think of, what colour shall I do? Blue. Actually, that one I cut before, quite a nice one. Before I've used all of those, just figuring out. Well, perhaps I'll do that one. So, just cut another piece. You get another demo of this. So, that corner to that corner, hold on to it. Oh, with your blade in the middle. And then go out and down. Now, hopefully this will be the last piece I need. Actually, I could put the glue on here. Look at that. Pretty good. Okay, so now that those are all on, oops, we stick into our silicone mat, but that easily peels off. I'm going to just set that there to dry a little bit. And I wanted to show you, so our next layer in the card is Barely Blush, our new very lovely pale pink. And what I did is I cut my focal layer from this layer because I wanted the two circles. I actually cut the one for the other card as well. And once that is layered up with this on top, you don't notice, and yet I've used that without wasting it, if you know what I mean. So it's a good way to make the most out of your cardstock. Okay, so while that is just drying for a wee minute, I'm going to do the butterflies. So, I don't know if this is something you've done before, but it's kind of cool to actually stamp on the designer series paper. And I thought this was quite a cute little, a good size pattern for the butterfly stamp that I'm using. And it just adds a little bit more interest to your butterflies. I'm just going to use the bottom part of this paper. I'll put my embossing buddy there and then ink up with Versamark. Now I find with this, when you go to punch them out, you want to have your butterflies stamped in such a way that it makes it easy to punch. And I found that this middle one here is fairly close to horizontal. So when I stamp, I try and keep that middle butterfly, hopefully I'm on camera here, try and keep that middle butterfly sort of fairly close to horizontal, like that. And then just put your powder on top. There we go. So that's ready for heating. Now I already went ahead and heated one earlier to save that horrible noise on the video. Put that over there and bring in my preheated butterflies. Aren't they gorgeous? And then I'm just going to punch them out and you'll see what I mean. So just take a little bit of wiggling, just a bit of patience to get these butterflies in the right position. And I'm just holding the paper with the punch very lightly while I just move it around. Okay, so I'm happy there. I'm going to punch down. Well, they do have that beautiful paper on the other side. That's my favourite piece. Anyway, I've gone to the effort now of embossing them, so I'm going to use that side. So there you have the cute little butterflies embossed on the paper. And you just see that little decoration coming through, which I think is quite sweet. Okay, so those are ready to use. And just while we're doing other things, I'll go ahead and stamp my sentiment. So this is from Banner Sayings. There's a lot of really good little sayings in here. It's got your happy birthday, your thank you. And I also love this font, with these ones down the bottom, really gorgeous. So this is one I use quite a lot. And there's also a punch that is, it's a bundle. So this is the punch that goes with it. And what I find with the punch is I like to have my shapes pre-punched, because I find if I use a strip, so logically you would go, oh, okay, I'm going to do a banner, I need a strip like that, I'll stamp it in the middle and then I'll slide it in and punch it out. However, depending on the size of the strip, it doesn't always happen, but it happens a wee bit. The punch can get jammed if you've got some paper overhanging into one of the other shapes. It's just really like I don't have an exact the perfect measurement, if you know what I mean, for your strip. It just happens every now and then and the punch will get jammed. So I prefer to punch them out first. I use a bigger piece, and then I just keep the other shapes in a little jar, and then I'll do my stamping onto that little piece. So that's what I'm doing now. I've got my hydrangea hue. And I'm just going to make sure it's not too inky. These new ones were quite inky when they arrived, which is great, full of ink. But I'm just going to test that on a scrap first. Yeah, see how it's just a wee bit too inky on that G. In fact, I can still see ink on there after I've even stamped it. So just get my trusty spoon, and you can even see the ink there moving. So I'll just move some of this ink down from the top, my spoon of wipe, and then I'll just ink it up from here, and I think that will be better. Yes. Oops, I've got it on my finger. There we go. Try that again. Actually, I might just give that G a little wash. There seems to be a bit. And the ink will, as it sits, it will come back to that area. But just while we're doing this, I will okay, so just going. It is a little bit harder to stamp once you've already punched it, but I do find it's working well for me. So there we are. Okay, there's our little sentiment. And I'll keep that out because I've got a little stamp for the inner as well. Okay, so now we'll go back to this part. That glue will have dried off a wee bit. And we do have, oh goodness, now I've got blue ink everywhere. Hydrangea. We do have back in stock our beautiful snips, and these are amazing and the best thing for fussy cutting. But when I'm doing something like this, where I've got sort of longer cuts, I'm going to go down the side of my layer here. I just use these stationary scissors for that, and it's also got glue, so I don't want to get that all over my nice fussy cutting scissors. And then I just make a pile. So these are a bit sticky. So I just stack them on top of each other as I go. And just trim this away, and then we'll have a nice edge. For this layer. I'm finding I'm using the two-tone cardstock a lot lately, and also it is the one that is recommended to use with the hot foil because it's a smoother card and it gives you a more polished look with the foil. So if you've been sitting on the fence about the two-tone and you're interested in foiling, then you will probably want to invest in the two-tone. It does work with the other card as well, but like I say, it's a more sort of a finer, more polished look. Nearly there. And ready for the big reveal. That might need a clean afterwards. There we go. So there's our pretty pattern. Doesn't it look amazing? Much better than when those pieces were all sticking over the edge. So now I'm going to attach it to my layer. And like I say, hide those circles that I cut out of the middle. I love how beautifully these colours all work together. The only one I haven't used is the Peaceful Pine, but I've used that on plenty of other cards you would have seen. So, okay, now this is going to, oh, I didn't need to put glue there. Look what I've done. I've gone and got glue through my holes. So there's a trick, little trap. Haven't done that technique for a wee while, and I forgot about that bit. So I'm going to put dimensionals, and I've got some ones I'm trying to use up, little strips that I'm using up. So these ones will need cutting. So this is the edge of the small dimensionals, so you can use those in place of the large ones. That will be plenty. My goodness, have you seen anything that Karen Pedersen has? Have you watched one of her, she works for Stamping Up, any of her classes or videos? She does product spotlights and things. She uses so many dimensionals. It's funny. But I am going to put a few extras on here than I normally would, because I don't want this sticking to the base of my card now that I've gone and put glue there where I didn't really intend to put glue. And I might just see if I can just wipe it off a bit. I'm getting tissue stuck to that, but that's all right. It's all going to be hidden. The joys of live. And I've got my old glue eraser here, so we'll just do a little bit of that. It's not going to be perfect, but hopefully it just won't stick to the card base layer below. So just remember, if you've got circles or anything underneath, don't do what I did. Right. Just want your glue around the edge, the outside edge. Get all these backs off. Quite a few of them. Okay, I think that's all. Right, and then that goes on the front. And this is a hydrangea hue card base. And just while I'm looking at that, it reminded me you can put that point anywhere you like. So you can have it, you can have the card go this way with your point, or you could have it, you know, in one corner and have everything sort of going up. You'd end up with longer pieces. So you can put that point anywhere you like and get different looks. Okay, now this circle is going on dimensionals as well. So I normally do 3 like that on a circle. And I might just put one in the middle as well, just one little one. Like that. And so this is just going to go on now and just cover all of that interconnection. So I'm just making sure it's even from side to side. About there. And then I've got my sentiment I might put on next. Doing a bit of a thank you one here. So I'm going to put this on dimensionals as well, because my butterflies are going on dimensionals. I'm just going to put 3 and just not put one right at the end, so that end just hangs off the fairly blush circle. Otherwise, I'd have to put two at that end, one on top of the other, to make it the same height. But just a little bit hanging off the edge like that will be fine. Out there. Right, now with the butterflies, I like to curl mine. So I take my bone folder and I just sort of hold it with my nail in the center of the body and then just curl it like that with your thumb. So hold on to it and just curl it. It just gives them a little bit of movement. Just like that. Okay. Just curving up the wings a wee bit. Pushing the body down. That's it. And then I'm going to put these on with dimensionals. I'm going to use the little ones just under those wings. And I might just place them where I'm going to put them. Like so. So this one, I can put dimensionals everywhere except just that top right wing, because that's going to be off the edge. So everywhere else, I'll put one on the other side, and then this one on that side is going to go down further, not near the top. And the other thing you can do is put a little dot of liquid glue in the center, so the body is going to be down on the paper, like so, and then the wings will be lifted up. Just hold that there for a sec. Okay, so this one, the tops of the wings are going to be off the page, so I'm going to put my dimensionals at the bottom. Oops, what happened there? Oh, it fell off. So I'll put my dimensionals down there. And then a little dot in the middle. And that one's sort of up in that corner. Again, I'll just hold that body down. I'm just holding that with my thumbnail. And then on the last one, the top is on and the bottom of the butterfly wings are off. So we'll go up. With our dimensionals. Put that in the middle there. Make sure they've still got their curve. Down with the body. And I've just got the wing up onto that shape for my sentiment for a bit of interest. Okay, nearly finished. Now I've used the Dewdrops embellishments. I had trouble finding something that would work because there's quite a lot of pretty pattern happening here. So these are just clear. And I thought it just gives that little bit of shine without sort of adding too much, making it even more busy. So just pick these up. I'm going to put, oh, it's a smaller one. I'll put one up here. One next to it. And I'll use a big one down here. Sort of go in between the patterns or onto one pattern, like so. Yeah, so it just adds that little bit of shine along with that embossing and the gold from the paper. Now for the inner here, I'm just going to stamp. There's a little stamp in the set with these little butterflies in a row. I'm going to see if our ink isn't too inky up here. Hopefully that's all right. It's looking a little patchy on that bottom one. Might just test it again. Yeah. So when it's too inky, you lose the detail. So I'm just going to move that. So that ink has already gone back to where it was. So you can just see how inky that is. So I'm going to quickly come in here and just test it. That's much better. So just to have something down here in that bottom corner is nice. Cool. And then I can stick that into the card. The great thing about the banner sayings as well is that there are complementary words in the set. So I could use another word in the middle, in the inner. So I've got I can't thank you enough, and then I could put I'm so grateful in the inside, or sending my love, or thanks a million. So there's loads of different options. So you can decorate both the outside and the inside with this set, which is really cool. Okay, well I hope we got there in the end. Sorry about the beginning without sound. Hopefully you've stuck it out. I'm not going to try and trim the video because, as we know, I'm not good at that stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial and the wonderful news about the hot foil system. And there'll be more information coming out about that, but it's very exciting. I've seen it in action and can't wait to get my hands on it. So yeah, I will see you in another 2 weeks' time. See you later.